Hello guys. I don't think you can tell what car I'm driving now, but I just had this thought suddenly, all of a sudden. You know, now if you tell a small children and tell them that please draw a car, and most likely they will still be drawing, you know, one with, you know, like that, like there's 3 boxes and then 2 wheels at below. So basically that is the default layout of a car, right? The bonnet, the boot, and then the passenger cell. I think in the next 5 or 10 years, the default car as we know it, the basic car as we know it, is very likely going to be an SUV or a crossover. Because when you come to think about it, back then, why cars are made low? Why cars are made low actually? You know, like you're nearer to the road and then you're sitting lower. Why is that so? It all started from the Mercedes 35, right? Because back then, to prove that your car is good, to prove that your company makes reliable cars, your company makes great engines that don't explode or break down, you have to go racing. So the low center of gravity that helps the handling, which became the car as we know it, is actually from sort of racing. That's how it all began. Because back then there's no such thing as technology or software and all that, and when you raise the center of gravity, you're gonna roll over, you're gonna tip over, right? But over the past 20 years, I would say, I think the guy who started it all, making SUVs handle, probably the BMW X5, which sort of started it, but it really took off when Mr. Porsche did the Cayenne, because that thing drives like, you know, it doesn't drive like an SUV at all. So as time goes by, now we have SUVs or crossovers that are high riding, but none of them, you barely can drive one that handles really badly now. They all sort of hold its own when it comes to, you know, driving around corners and all that. And then when you come to think about it, right, when there's no worry of the car being unstable or, you know, doing that sort of clumsy stuff when your car is on the road, it makes no sense to drive a sedan when you come to think about it. I know there's a movement earlier on, you know, a lot of motoring journalists say SUVs are big and they use more fuel, they are useless, blah 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 blah, people don't use it, all sort of nonsense. When you come to think about it, when you don't have a barrier towards how SUV handles, I mean, a lot of SUVs handle better than sedans, say for example, right? I mean, there's a CX-5 earlier on, and in front of me is an old Camry. The CX-5 can out-handle the Camry anytime. See? So we are no longer confined to the height of center of gravity to determine how our car handles. When you come to that mindset, actually the sedan as we know it, the car, the default car as we know it, the sedan, is the biggest compromise of all. Right? It is not as stylish as 2 doors. It has a low ride height, which means the boy's gonna cross the road. Yeah, sedan is the biggest compromise of all. They don't do anything particularly well when you come to think about it, right? So I think the default car will definitely be an SUV and a crossover. And yes, I'm driving a crossover, or an SUV if you like to call it, and this thing handles decent. It's really decent, and it's expected now. It's no longer like, wow, how the hell they do it. That's no longer the case. it handles. And I saw a Proton Exora parked at the roadside just now. That bugger handles as well, the Proton Exora. And if Proton were to build a crossover, which they desperately need, so a Proton, why you build 3 sedans when you can have built a crossover? Bazir do it. Anyway, yep, that's my little thing